Hi, today I'm going to be describing a very physicky thing in motorsports. It's in pretty much everything, but I'm going to be using motorsports as an example. Something known as G-forces, which is pretty much the force that gravity sort of exerts on your body. So, we should probably start off by explaining what G-force actually is. You have G-force too, apparently. Yeah, so according to the big text box that appears on Google, the G-force or gravitational force equivalent is mass-specific force expressed in units of standard gravity, and it's used for sustained accelerations that cause a perception of weight. So it's essentially that feeling you get in your stomach when you're like riding a roller coaster and you go down a drop really fast. That's G-force. So in racing, cornering speeds are really high, braking is a lot, and it puts a lot of G-force into you. Here's a clip of Michael Schumacher at Japan, and you could just see there's a G-force tracker there, hitting 5 Gs through the first couple of corners, which it's a lot. Most humans can't survive extended periods of time once it hits like 7 to 9. However, that's not the highest G-forces get, because obviously race cars crash. As you can see here, this wreck might look, horrifying, but it's not worst case scenario because of G-forces. When you're flipping like this, obviously the G-forces, they're high, but they're not as high as if you were to go like head on into a wall, which is oftentimes why you'll hear the commentators say like, well, it could have been worse. When you crash head on into a wall, it's usually a lot worse pretty much because that energy doesn't get dissipated, over a long period of time. It's just kind of instant, so that's why. Now, I should probably all warn you before we move on that nobody was killed in these upcoming crashes or crash. I don't actually know how many I'm going to put in just yet. But this is kind of an example of how high G-forces can really get in racing. The highest G-force ever survived by a human actually happened in a race. You could see it right there. The guy in that car is named Kenny Brack. He survived this wreck and actually made a full recovery and ran the Indy 500, I believe only 18 months after this crash. But he survived an impact of 214 Gs when he went into the fence right around there. But the best part here is the fact that that car did spin like that and it kept going. So as I mentioned before, all that energy got dissipated, which was a really good thing and probably was vital in him making a full recovery so quickly as well after a wreck like this. He is still alive today. He is retired because this wreck happened 21 years ago, but still around. Moving on to a more lighthearted topic, but still staying on topic with G-forces, we're going to move on to safety. Yay! So, pretty much, one of the main accomplishments in safety over the past 25 years has been the Hans device, which is essentially a system, not really a system, but rather just a piece that you kind of connect to your helmet and it keeps your neck in place in these crashes so that way it essentially prevents whiplash is what I'm trying to say here. So that helps, and of course the seat as well, also targeted at keeping your body in the same place. I mean, if you look at those seats, like NASCAR drivers have spotters that tell them about the cars around them because they cannot move their head more than like probably a quarter of an inch or so. Like once they're in the seat, they're kind of in there and they're not moving. But it improves the safety in these crashes, and it's why you see drivers walk away so much. I mean, I'm just going to use NASCAR as an example. We haven't had a fatality in NASCAR since Dale Earnhardt Sr. 23 years ago, which is a great thing. And lastly, because I really want to go to bed now, I'm going to talk about the SAFER barrier. SAFER is an acronym, but it definitely does make racetracks safer. by absorbing impacts and energy and reducing those G-forces on those massive hits. Here's a safer barrier. So at the back here, you have the concrete wall. And then essentially the front part here is the steel wall, which is, lighter than concrete, or at least not as bad to hit. And in between, we have a bunch of foam blocks. These foam blocks kind of like contract when you hit them, so that way the steel barrier moves back towards the concrete wall, therefore saving the driver, absorbing more of an impact. And they've helped a ton as well. They're one of the best features racing's ever really incorporated. You also saw all the damage there on the 12. That's also another good thing, because the more the car crumples, obviously the more energy it'll absorb as well, which is why also on roads when you see cars demolished in just normal crashes, that's a good thing, because it's absorbing that energy. Anyways, again, I already mentioned it's late. I want to go to bed. This video presentation went pretty good. So just enjoy this really cool finish that broke the record for closest finish in NASCAR Cup history. It was really cool. It happened on Sunday night. It was awesome. I screamed a lot. I wish I recorded my reaction because it was really funny. Bye.